an accountability coach, speaker, and host of the Corner Office Latinas podcast, helping professionals achieve career fulfillment and leadership success. Diana is also a powerful United Latinas member and also a partner through Lean in Latinas. And it just comes to show the power of collaboration across organizations as long as we come together. So thank you so much, Diana, for being here with us today. The virtual stage is all yours. You're unmuted.
All right, and I am unmuted and you can hear me okay, yes? Everyone's going to hear me. Okay, well, thank you again for having me join you today. I am really excited. I have met a lot of you. I see some old friends. Anna, it's so good to see you, and it's good to connect with people that I have met online and in person with United Latinas. And I am excited to talk about my topic of claiming your worth in the marketplace because I know for too long, Latinas have been undervalued, underpaid, underestimated in corporate America. And today we are here to change that. And as a first generation high school grad, college grad, first in my family to work in a corporate job and reaching that success in the corner office, usually as the first woman, the first Latino of any sort, often both. Like many of you, I have had to overcome these challenges that we as Latinas face to get recognized, to get paid, and to get ahead, to reach our dreams. And I know that all of you have worked really hard to get where you are. So I know there's a lot going on in the community and in the country, but now is not the time to be shy. Now is still the time to ask for what you deserve. So I'm going to share a few strategies that have helped me reach six figures early on in my career. It all comes down to confidence because confidence is your biggest asset in negotiating. All of my business people will understand that whether it's your own worth or working on a deal, you need confidence. But to get there, we need to cultivate the right mindset. So we're going to talk about mindset, then we're going to talk about the market value, and then we're going to put it all together so you can negotiate to get the financial reward that reflects your talents. And overall, just like Sandra and Ileana have said, I want you to leave feeling empowered to take the steps necessary to get recognized for your contributions. Now, the first step is to embrace that abundance mindset. And I know as women and as Latinas, it can be really hard to speak up for ourselves, to negotiate for money. Sometimes we have negative associations for money. You know, I often joke I'm from Chicago and I see corruption, and my dad used to say that rich people are crooks, and there can be some rich, bad people who are crooks, but there can also be some rich people who are wonderful and generous and fabulous. And so we want to think about those people. We want to aspire to be those people. But the first step starts with you of putting away any old thoughts, any traditions that don't serve you anymore. And yes, sometimes we do have to ask. A lot of times we were taught, just do good work, keep your head down, and you'll get rewarded. And if only it were that simple, because many of you have seen, hey, I worked hard, somebody else got promoted. I worked hard, they got a raise, and I didn't. So you are not asking for anything that you have not earned or deserved. You are merely asking to be paid market value. And you're here today because you also know that you have earned the success and you just want to reach that next level. So I want you to also embrace being a rich woman and what that brings with it. Because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that you deserve to make $250,000, no one else will. And it's not just about the dollars. Your pay, your salary is your brand. If you think about it, think of someone who makes $70,000. What does she wear? Where does she work? Where does she go on vacation? And then think about someone who makes $300,000. Where does she go on vacation? What does she wear? Where does she work? Your pay is your brand, and that's going to set you up for future negotiations. And I know there's also a lot of talk about gratitude. We can be grateful and still be striving for that market value. Which brings us to item number 2. What is that market value? You have to know your number. And I have a lot of clients who always ask me what they should ask for and how they should negotiate, what the dollar amounts are. So the research is on you to make sure that you know what your type of job pays in your industry. Because of course, an accountant who works in tech or entertainment is going to be paid differently than an accountant who works for a small nonprofit. but there has never been more information out there online to at least come up with a range. So let's say the range that you have found is anywhere from $100 to $150,000. This is where your confidence is going to come in. You have to add your premium. Are you bilingual? Have you launched a similar product? Do you know this project beginning, middle, and end, inside and out? This is where our confidence comes in to add our premium, add our value that we bring to the table. So then if you have that range of 100 to 150, you say, you know what, I have all the skills and I have this added value. I'm going to ask for the high end of the range. But again, we have to trust in our abilities. We have to have the confidence that we deserve to make this type of money. So how do we put it all together? How do we negotiate? I'm going to talk how to negotiate from two angles. One, for my new job seekers, anyone who's out there getting a new job now, or someone who's been at the company for 5 or 10 years and you're starting to look around like, am I keeping up? Are new people making more money, or is the market paying more than what I make? Because that's the reality and that happens, but we can address that. So first, with our new job seekers, don't forget, they will never love you more than they love you right now when they're making you that very first job offer. That's when you have the most leverage. So now that you know your number and you have that confidence, you just have to make sure that you know the difference between the nice to haves and the must haves, right? And of course, you want to negotiate for other things like professional development, maybe attendance at a key conference, a better title. Leadership coaching is very popular right now. But the thing is, those things, those nice to haves, they will help your success today and tomorrow, but that conference isn't going to pay the bills. So you still have to know what is your bottom line and then these other things that you want to negotiate for. Now, the same thing applies to people who have been at the job for 5 or 10 years. Do your research. See if you have fallen behind. And then you schedule a conversation. Don't wait for review time because we are talking about an adjustment, right? And just share with your boss that, you're still happy to be there, you've contributed so much, and you want to keep contributing, but you want to make sure that you don't fall out of step with market rate. Now, for any of these conversations, we have to practice. We have to do yes, no, other. Okay. And if it's yes, that's great. What is that? Any new responsibilities or new expectations? But if they say yes, then great. They have told you about how they feel about your contribution, and that's a really good sign. Now, if they say no, that's okay. That's okay because no is information. So if you're at the company, you've been there 5 or 10 years, and you asked to get to 200,000 and they said no, you say, thank you for your consideration. What would it take? Give them a nice open-ended question. What would it take for me to reach 200,000 at this company? Then you will find out maybe it is the fact that you didn't finish college, or maybe it is the fact that you have not been traveling and taking on a bigger portfolio, or maybe you will simply find out, you know what? You're at the top of the range and that's all we can pay you. Well, guess what? At least now you have information and you can still make a decision based on that information. So it is at least then your choice. That's why it's important to consider career conversations and any conversation around salary as just part of your relationship building with your boss. That way they know what's important to you. And that way you have more information about what is happening in the marketplace. So I know I've gone through a lot of this really quickly. I was guaranteed that I would go under 10 minutes. But again, your takeaway is your confidence is your number one asset to the approach to the negotiation. So we want to approach money with an abundance mindset. You are worth it. Your family is worth it. Think about the generational wealth that you are building. Know your market value and make sure to add your premium to that value. And then it is important for you to ask for that. It is important for you to negotiate. It shows that you are ambitious and you take your work seriously, and they should too. And that's why it's important to remember your pay is your brand. And that sets you up well for that next salary negotiation, that next job search. So I know a lot of us are going to be here on and off for the next couple of hours. You have invested in yourself today. So you want to acknowledge yourself, a little pat on the back for taking this step. And I want to hear a success story. I want to hear before the end of the month, I want someone to find me on LinkedIn and say, Diana, that was so helpful. I had this conversation and here's what happened. I negotiated, I got a better title, I got a 10% bump, whatever it is. I want to hear from you. So keep checking out information from United Latinas. And again, I'm so grateful to be here and thank you for letting me spend some time with you today.
This was amazing, Diana. Thank you so much. And thank you for being so action oriented because I think that's what makes a difference, right? We come here, we get inspired, we get empowered, we hear all of these stories, but I always say then we go into our way and we don't know how to apply it to our day to day. So thank you so much for always being so specific and so give so many examples so that we can then apply it into our day to day and find a little bit more confidence, which is one of the biggest barriers, like we've shared in the beginning, that many of us have in terms of being able to move forward and ask for what we deserve, and have those tough conversations. So it was amazing, and please connect with Diana because she has so many more pearls of wisdom and nuggets to share. And that's what this community is all about, right?
Yes, and I'm seeing some
Holding
of the
the
comments.
information that we
Someone here,
have.
yeah, yeah, some people are about to negotiate, and I definitely want to hear it. And we send ourselves to the gym, we do yoga, we pay for all these other services, but do we take the time to assess our career? So that's why I encourage people to maybe once a month, once a year, have your own little mini retreat on your career reset. Is it still serving you? Are you getting what you need? What else do you need to do to make a difference?
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, your talks